Hi everyone, this is episode 3, and today I really wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of stillness, of meditation, of breathing, and of rest. So, like, those 4 things kind of like piled together in any way, shape, or form. And I really wanted to talk about this today because I feel like there's a lot of people out there who are like me, who overthink. So, like, this video right here is really for my overthinkers, and I don't even mean like regular overthinkers. I'm talking about like people who are like really self-aware. Like, I would say this is really for people who are highly self-aware, but maybe still have trouble actually creating and like building that life that they know they can build, but for some reason, like, it's like you're just not getting there, right? So my overthinkers, my highly self-aware people, this one's for you because I think we as people who consume a lot of content, like, in one day you can consume so much content. Our brains are moving so fast that I think our healing process, like, it's not only mental and intellectual, but it's also physical. And part of physical healing and physical improvement lives in the present moment, it lives in meditation, it lives in breathing, and it lives in stillness. And I have discovered through my journey how important it is for me, someone who has a brain like mine, to sit still at many times throughout your day. So I just wanted to share how it's impacted me, and maybe how it can impact you if you start to incorporate it in your life as well. So if you're someone who's on a healing journey, or you're someone who is, I would say, constantly trying to self-improve and just become a better version of yourself, this is like really for you. And I feel like a lot of times the goal with healing and self-improvement, pretty much for all of us, is to become a better version of ourselves, right? Like, we want this new life, we want these new habits, we want this new feeling that we know we are capable of getting. We know we want to live this new life, right? And if you're like me, like, you have the gift of self-awareness, you might know like so many solutions to your problems, right? Like, you might know, hey, like, I know I have these problems, and I also know how I can kind of fix them. Like, you might have a general idea of what people do when they're in this situation. For example, if you're someone who really wants to get in shape, right? But you already know, like, you've researched the diet plans, you've researched what workouts you need to do, you have done all the planning and the prep work to get to this goal that you need to do. But for some reason, you're not fit yet, and you don't feel good, and you don't like how you look in the mirror, and you don't like how your body feels, and you're not healthy. So it's like there's a disconnect, right? And that disconnect lies in your body, because your mind can be so self-aware about everything that you have going on, but until you take action, none of what you want to come out will take place, because you have to literally be in the present moment to take said action. So the difference between someone who actually takes action and builds a life versus someone who doesn't take action and kind of thinks about things a million times is being in the present moment. The people who take action are not thinking about what they need to do 10 times. They are just doing it. And for my overthinkers and for people who are very cerebral like I am, it is not your fault, you know? Like, your brain just is wired with a couple extra neurons, and that can be a huge blessing if you use it the right way, but it can also be your detriment. People like us, the hardest thing for us is to be in the present moment and to actually face the discomfort and then change moving forward. It is something I definitely struggle with myself. For years, I think like talking about the problems helps a lot. For me, like, it helped a lot, and for many of you, it may as well. And kind of gathering information is good as well, becoming educated is good as well, but every healing journey, you kind of get to a point where talking no longer helps, and thinking about things no longer help, because you already know what you have to do. It's just a matter of doing it right. So why do we get stuck in that place where we know everything, but we can't yet take action. And it's because your brain, in the most loving possible way, is pretty much trying to protect you from facing the discomfort of the present moment. And that really is what your brain is doing. It's trying to protect you from facing what your current reality is, because that's probably not what you want it to be at this point. And so it's trying to just think its way out of the problems. But if you actually want to improve, you have to give your brain enough space for it to kind of settle down. And when it settles down, you can face slash come to terms with the fact that, hey man, you to yourself, this is not where I wanted to be. I'm not happy with blank, blank, blank. I forgive myself. I did my best. I am now in the present moment. I am no longer in the past. Let me see how I can move forward with this. When you get to that space, only then can you actually take the action that will bring you the results that you want. That space is where the good parts come out. You know, that's where in the physical moment, in this reality, you can step forward and say, yeah, this is what I need to do. And for some reason, instead of just thinking about it, I actually feel like doing it, because you've now released all this mental, emotional pressure from the past that you were carrying into the present moment. You cannot move forward into the future until you can accept that this is where you are in this very moment, right? So sometimes, I am a huge believer that sometimes, and I've learned this only just recently in the last couple years, so I'm speaking from experience when I say sometimes the best thing you can do is to turn off the podcast, which is so funny because I'm here talking on a podcast. But sometimes the best thing you can do is to turn off the podcast, to close the self-improvement books, to not always consume content that's about becoming a better version of yourself or about healing. Hear me out. It's wonderful to listen and to get new information. But if you are at the point where you're just like, I just want my life to change and I want it to be better, and the more content you're consuming, the less action you're taking, sometimes the best thing you can do is to turn it off and go live your life. And I don't just mean live your life recklessly, because that is one thing, but I mean live your life consciously, which is a whole different thing than living your life how you used to, right? If you're someone who wants to make improvements, or you're someone who's looking to heal certain things in your life, being in the present moment is almost like a non-negotiable, because you cannot make changes, like I said, until you are no longer in the past. And this is the part of healing that I feel like nobody talks about. This is the part of self-improvement that I think needs to be acknowledged more often. That is the part where you have to sit with physical symptoms. I'm talking about maybe your heart races a lot, or maybe you have palpitations, or maybe your chest is really tight, or you get like stomach cramps, like whatever, in whichever way anxiety manifests for you. The hardest part, I think, is like sitting with those feelings in your body, because I don't know about y'all, but sometimes it feels like you're gonna die. It just feels like the world is ending and you don't know what to do. And many times I think it's something that is not talked about enough. And that goes back to my first point, the importance of stillness and meditation when it comes to your daily life. I think it's something we all need to be better at incorporating in our very fast-paced world, because essentially, if we want our brains to get to this place where there's more stillness and there's more peace to be in the present moment, we actually have to slow down. That's what I mean when I say rest. I don't literally mean sleep for 3 or 4 days. I mean, you can, but most of our schedules don't allow that, right? So stillness means slowing down a little bit. This can look like very many things. Sometimes it can just look like meditating every day, taking 5 or 10 minutes out of your day, every morning and every night, sitting there, turning on some music, and just focusing on the breath. Lately, meditation for me has looked like focusing on the space right between my eyebrows, so like right here. And It sounds so weird, but if you just do it and you focus on the sensations in your body, whatever that is, um, it literally brings you back to the present moment. And if you can incorporate that in small parts of your day, morning or night, it can even look like slowing down when you do things. When you get up in the morning, are you in a frantic rush, or do you have some time? I am so guilty of this one because I'm someone who doesn't really get up as early, so sometimes I'm scrambling. But if I woke up just a little bit earlier and I had some time to slow down, it would probably help my brain a little bit. When you're brushing your teeth in the morning, like, are you in a rush, or can you just slow down a little bit? When you're cooking your meals, are you paying attention to, how the food smells and what you're putting in it, or are you, doing something else? Another one I think that we're all really guilty of is watching TV while you're eating food. Like, you have this beautiful plate of food in front of you that half the world can't get access to this kind of healthy food. But for some reason, we need another source of entertainment to feel satisfied. And so we turn on YouTube, or we turn on Netflix, or whatever it is. And again, no shame at all, because I'm guilty of these things too. But if you can just become a little bit more conscious in your day to day about slowing down and just enjoying just this one thing that you're doing in front of you, it can change your mind and your body in a lot of ways. Meditation can also look like doing something, but doing it with intention, right? So meditation is not only sitting in silence and focusing on your breath, although that is a wonderful way to meditate. Meditation can also look like any activity that brings you back into the present moment. Anything that allows you to be still and for your mind and your thoughts to just slow down just a little bit. If you can incorporate those things into your day to day, it will go a very, very long way. For someone, this can literally look like shooting a basketball over and over and over again, because maybe they like basketball and it just there's no other thoughts in their mind, because all they can think about is dribbling this ball and getting it in the hoop, right? For me, meditation looks like, or slowing my body down looks like, walking. So I go on walks every single day, and I don't listen to music anymore, because I really want to just enjoy my walk and be in stillness for at least 30 minutes before I start my morning, right? It looks like working out. Anybody who works out pretty much will tell you that it's been great for their mental health, and it's because your physical body gets active, so your mind literally is forced to slow down, because you have to focus on picking up this weight and doing what you got to do, to get your workout in. So yeah, meditation is not only breathing, it can be a multitude of things, but the point is that you're slowing your body down, you're spending more time in stillness, and you're focusing on sensations in your physical body, not in your mind. And you may be asking, well, what after that, right? Like, I'm slowing down, I'm meditating morning and night. What's going to come from that? Well, if you can stay consistent enough to do these very small but meaningful things every single day, with time, you will be able to kind of sit in discomfort more often. And what happens when you sit in stillness, you might actually feel worse before you feel better. And this happened for me as well. You probably will notice your racing heart a little bit more. You'll feel maybe physical sensations more often. You may feel like crying, you may feel really sad. Don't be alarmed if you feel negative emotions in some type of way. It's not because you meditated, it's because those feelings have been sitting in your body. And by returning to your breath and returning to the present moment, all those old feelings are now going to come back up, right? And they're kind of showing you, hey, it's like an alarm from your body. This is what we're feeling. Can you help me get through this? Can you breathe? Can you sit here? And from that, your new life can be built, One of the first things that I said when I started this video is, when you are trying to improve your life and when you are trying to heal and you are very highly self-aware and you know what you want to do, but for some reason you are not taking the action to get there. Why are you not taking the action, right? Because you're up here and you're not right here. You're not in your body. And so facing the discomforting emotions that are going to come up when you start meditating. that is going to allow you to now be in your body. From facing those discomforts, you will naturally kind of want to take those actions that you need to take. So there's a difference, right? In the beginning, it was, I have to go to the gym. I have to start this new career. I have to blank, 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 whatever your goal is. But when you meditate and you breathe, you give your brain enough space to slow down. And the words now will sound like, maybe I should blank, blank, blank. I get to blank, blank, blank. Do you hear the difference in the tone? Your brain, instead of becoming this nagging thing that you have to do with all this pressure, it just becomes this conscious choice, you know? Before, it was an unconscious choice that you were just doing these things, and now you're in conscious choice. So all this knowledge that you had in your brain about what you wanted to do and how to do it, now it's in your body too. And when your mind and your body can be connected, you know, that's when you take action, and that's when your life changes. The person who's going to experience all of the beautiful things that come out of making change and being a better version of yourself, you're not just going to feel those things in your mind. You're going to be in the present moment, feeling joy, feeling happiness, you know, feeling whatever emotion you want to feel. Emotions are not felt in your head, they are felt in your body. And like I said, for people who are very intellectual, overthinkers, highly self-aware people, I think it took me it took me a long time of being in my head and spinning in circles to get to this point where I realized, oh my gosh, my brain has just been trying to protect me all this time. And if I can sit here and face this discomfort of being in this moment and feeling my emotions, scary word, I know, emotions can be very scary, I understand. But if you can incorporate those things in your daily life and not be so afraid of how you feel, you can change your life. Yeah. If you can work through the discomfort of, you know, stillness and the discomfort of negative emotions, if you can deal with the physical parts of those things, a newer, healthier, better version of you can emerge. Because all of your past up to this point that's led you to where you are has probably been like unconscious actions, right? You've just been doing what you had to do to survive. But now that you want to make an improvement in your life, your goal is to now take conscious action. But consciousness, being conscious, quite literally means being aware, being in the present moment, to be aware, to then make the decisions that you want to make in the future moving forward. Yeah, I can speak a little bit about myself. In the last couple years, I think for a long time I used to just think about my healing, and that's beautiful in itself. If you have a level of self-awareness, of any self-awareness, that is something that you should applaud, period. But I really did not realize how much discomfort I was avoiding myself in my body. I am someone who really likes to think about her emotions more than feel her emotions, and I think a lot of people in my personal life are also like that. And from sitting with my discomfort, from sitting with my emotions and dealing with the crying and the, you know, the anxiety, whatever it is that you have stored up inside of you from the past, if you can find conscious ways to sit with that every single day, even in micro moments, over time I noticed myself, like, my life slowly started to change, right? It's not quick and it's not immediate, and you know, you're gonna be so caught up in the sadness and the stuff that you have buried. You're not even going to realize that one day you're going to wake up and see, oh my gosh, all the changes that I said I wanted to make one day and the life that I wanted, is I'm building it without even thinking about it, you know, because that's really who you are and that's what you want to do deep down inside. But you can't access that version of you until you are back in the present moment. And last thing I want to say is, this is something that I'm still working on myself. I'm not a perfect person at all. I'm just sharing like minor things that I've learned along my journey. And your body is so smart and so capable of doing so much more than you think. And notice how I said body and not mind, because a lot of times, we know our minds can be very intelligent. They can think of all these amazing things. Humanity has created some of these most, wonderful creations that require so much intelligence. But I think people really underestimate how smart our bodies are. Like, they are so emotional and so smart. And if you take the time every day to just listen to them, meditate a couple minutes every day, be in a flow meditative state for just a little bit, I think you are going to be very amazed at how much change can take place in your life, and most importantly, how much space can open up in your brain. And you'll look back and realize, oh my gosh, all these like problems that I used to think about, big or small, were actually solvable, right? Like, there was a solution to those problems, but I didn't give myself enough quietness to recognize the solutions to those problems and take action on those, problems, and make a change and actually go out there and live the life that I actually want to live. So that's my message, is don't underestimate the intelligence of your body. Feed your mind beautiful things every day, but do not forget to also feed your body in that same way. Like, take care of your body and take care of your mind simultaneously. The same way that you go to bed at night every day, because like your body's tired, right? Like, you need 8 hours of sleep, so you need to go to bed. The same way, think about how much your brain runs for you every day, right? Like, you go to work, right? You have a family to take care of. Maybe you have responsibilities you need to take care of. All things that require your mind to be so active and in thinking mode all the time. Wouldn't you want your mind to get that same relaxation and that same rest that you give to your body, right? If you don't sleep for 2 days, I don't think that you're going to function the same on the third day physically. You're not going to be able to go on that walk because you're exhausted. So why do we as human beings expect our brains to kind of just keep functioning on the third and fourth day like perfect and positively if we don't give them breaks, right? Give your brain a break. Meditate. Sit in silence. Personally, for me, one of the things that has been doing wonders for me is nature, okay? So other than the walks in the morning and the working out in the evening, I've been going to the park. So I literally just take a blanket. It's so simple, but I sit at the park for half an hour every single day, and I'll just sit with my blanket, no music on. I just sit there. I don't do anything at all. You can totally listen to music and journal if you want. For me personally, I have just found so much peace in just doing nothing for a certain time period throughout the day. And like I said, it doesn't have to be long, right? Mine was only 30 minutes a day of just sitting in the grass and doing nothing about it. It's crazy, but your brain slows down. And once it slows down, that's where all this magic can take place. But you gotta give it a try if you haven't yet. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed. Let me know if there's other things you guys want me to talk about. I would love to converse about these many topics. And I'm Yap City over here. I can just keep going forever. Let me know if this is helping any of you as well. Yeah, these are just things that I personally have experienced and been through and kind of learned. And I'm also still incorporating this in my daily life. Like, I meditate, but not every day, right? And I know if I did do it every day, the improvements that would take place in my life would be monumental. But just from doing it just once in a while, I've noticed it changes. So I'm here to share that. And just imagine what we as humanity, we as people can accomplish if we all just took a little bit of time out of our day to give our brains and our bodies a break. Bye.